Thank you for staying with us here on Politics Today on Channels Television. Well, tonight you can be a part of a program by tweeting at us. The Twitter handle is at Sheung Okin, or send an email to politicstoday@channelstv.com. Well, the issue we are looking at tonight is a crisis rocking the PDP. Well, there was a convention held yesterday at the Eagle Square in Abuja. We follow up that particular convention, which lasted for several hours. But what happened yesterday was that most of the candidates re-elected or elected into the National Working Committee of the PDP. Two posts were not contested for, and that was the national chairman of the party and also the national secretary of the PDP. Well, that is not even the issue we are going to be discussing tonight, because that particular election saw most of the candidates returned. Most of them were the ones a few weeks ago that stepped down, but this time around we saw that election saw them returned into that office. But the issue tonight is the fact that some governors staged a walkout, and you know that in politics there are delegates to this kind of convention. There were issues on the delegates who appeared. Some delegates were said not to be registered, while some were there and they're not supposed to be there. Those were the arguments back and forth on this particular issue. But tonight, I'm being joined in the studio by Barrister Kamela Okara. He's a legal practitioner. Thank you for joining us on Politics Today.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Interesting indeed, isn't it? Because what we see most of the times in the PDP is what they call the big family issue. What do you make of what happened over the weekend, particularly on Saturday, with the situation of the governors walking out? What do you make of it?
Well, I think to understand what happened yesterday, you would have to go back actually to the period immediately after independence. If you know, Nigerian politics at that time was regional politics. You had the NPC in the north, you had the NCNC in present day, what is present day Southeast, and you had the Action Group in the west. Now, after the Ironsi coup, and after that period, power became centralized in the center. So that, and from that time to the present, what has happened is that the politics of who is at the helm of affairs at the center has been sort of what you might call a zero-sum game. It's always been about who rules Nigeria. Now, since this current dispensation, of course, as you know, we had Obasanjo in the first 8 years, and then we had the brief period of Yar'Adua, and now we have President Goodluck Jonathan. Now, what all of this is about really is who flies the flag, in my opinion. In my opinion, looking at it, it's about who flies the flag in 2015. From all indications at the end of the PDP convention yesterday, it's clear that what has played out is what would, as it were, be the structure that would work towards what seems very likely the emergence of Goodluck Jonathan as the party's candidate come 2015. Now, that equation, of course, is not maybe going down well with perhaps some other members of the PDP family. I mean, they look at it and they feel that, if I want to be a president come 2015, or if at least I want to have the chance of being a candidate, then perhaps that chance may not be available within the PDP.
I mean, it's interesting because why should the issue of who become president in 2015 be an issue in 2013? Anyways, the president, the incumbent president, has the right by law to recontest for another term in office. So why would governors, who of course some of them were his colleagues when he was governor in Bayelsa State, why would they not want him to recontest, or why would they want to contest that particular ticket with him for 2015?
Well, as you know, some of the governors who have now emerged in this new grouping have made public pronouncements to the effect that, the president, Goodluck Jonathan, had, promised to only run for one term.
And so you mean this is probably where that particular issue was emanated from?
Yes, because you see, it's unprecedented. What has happened over time is that, the balance of power has shifted progressively away from from the core north We had Obasanjo over an 8-year period. Now you have a South-South president, which is unprecedented in itself. And the permutations of many others was that perhaps he would just do one term.
Unprecedented because of the region where it comes from seems
Absolutely,
to be a minority.
It's a minority. So now what has played out is that with his presidency, I mean, naturally, the Constitution allows any incumbent president to do a maximum of 2 terms. So the question for many of them is he going to go for a second term? And as an incumbent president, if he's going to go for a second term, what are the chances of others?
Is it not just fair for him to run for a second term? We've seen all of the presidents about to run for 2 terms.
He has a constitutional right to run for 2 terms.
So why should some people be angry or aggrieved about that?
Because, you see, politics for many people is a game of interest. It's a game of personal interest. And some would look at the way it is playing out. And for them, perhaps their own assumption would be that, you know, this is not going to play out to my favor. You see what I mean? So for some of them, they've looked at it and they perhaps feel that they can't wait for, you know, assuming because he hasn't declared that he would be the candidate in 2015, but assuming he does declare that he would be the candidate, for some of them, that scenario is one which is not too favorable to them.
Okay,
so that's what's playing out.
We will be giving you some showing you some interesting pictures of that particular event and a lot of issues that happened at that particular convention. Let me just give you an highlight of some of the things that we're going to be showing you. At the stand, there were some stands, well, there were about 36 stands across the arena yesterday at the Eagle Square, which every state had their own stand, where in each of the stand or the cubicle or the tent, whichever way you want to put it, but each state had its own tent. In each of the tents, we had governors in each of the states where we had PDP governors. Governors were in front. They led the delegates from their states. But there were some controversial tents we looked out for yesterday, and it was like a prophecy. We kept an eye on the Rivers State stand. We kept an eye on the Adamawa State stand. We kept an eye on the Anambra State stand. All of these, we had interesting pictures which came out of that convention yesterday. But then, what was the reaction of some of the governors who are not in favor of the governors who walked out? Let's take a listen to Governor Akpabio, who is the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum. Right after the governor staged a workout, we had an interview with him, and this is what he had to say to the incident of the workout by the governors. Take a listen.
Must have taken up certain actions, but it's not a problem. I think it's an internal issue that we will definitely look into, and then it will be resolved. Yesterday, as PDP governors, we held a meeting in my lodge, and it was a very well-attended meeting. We discussed the issue of the convention, and all of us agreed to mobilize our supporters and be here. And of course, you saw that even the governors that you heard are not happy, also mobilized, and we're all here in numbers, in colors, and we all danced and we took part in the convention. The certain delegates were not allowed in, and because of that, a few governors were not happy. So if people now left here and try to form something, you know, it doesn't work that way because the procedure of holding a national convention is very clear. We have to give notices, you have to hold national executive council meetings, so many things go into it. My assurance to the public is that whatever disagreement will be treated as a family affair and will be resolved in the next few hours.